Welcome to the Immerse podcast. We are your hosts, Alex O'Keefe and Dan Ramsden.
We aim to immerse you in education via our guests, bring communities together, embrace positive change and help create solid habits that yield the path for our health and longevity.
Right, here we go. Live.
Let's go.
Welcome, everybody, to the Immerse podcast. Bit of a special one today. One of my best pals, probably my best pal. Two of my best pals I'm sat with.
Yeah.
I thought you said it were me.
Sorry.
Both got great names.
Both Dans.
Both Dans. I obviously like me Dans.
So you did say it were Dan is your best pal, so you're not wrong there, are you?
Exactly.
There you go. Clever.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Like
Dan Keane, welcome to the podcast, my friend.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's we're catching you at a very good time, mate, because over the last, probably say 12 to 18 months, I think you've experienced some exponential growth, I would say. You've always been a serious operator, and I want to delve back into a bit of the history, mate, of where that's come from, but it's all happening for you recently, mate, and as your friend, I'm very glad to see that happening.
Thank you, mate.
So today, we're here to talk about some of your most recent achievements, which include smashing a sub 3 hour marathon in London, sub 1 hour Hyrox Pro Solo,
Yep.
and becoming a business owner for the first time, my friend, and everything else in between. So I think it's quite romantic to share how me and you first met, actually. Let's take it back there, Dan.
So, my version of events.
Be careful.
Yeah.
It involved cowboy hats and stuff like that.
That was further on.
It was quite funny, actually. So, I think I've told you this before. You might, maybe you do. Anyway, so
Let's hear it.
I didn't have a clue who you were, but we were playing football for Shelley probably about 7 years ago.
Yeah, just before lockdown, really, a couple of years
And we were
before.
playing at Nelson away. We played there a couple of years after, well, the year after and the year after that as well. And I remember you turning up and you walked across. I thought, who was this dickhead? Bleach blonde hair, walking with a bit of swagger. I thought, I just really hope he's not a centre mid. Really hope he's not a centre mid because I can't deal with another centre mid. It's more competition. And then when I found out, when I asked Howard Cartledge, I went, where's he play? Left wing. I thought, yes, get it. And then I think he came on as sub, did really well. You were lightning quick, but you were blowing. I don't think he played football in a while.
That would, yeah, I'd just come back from injury. Yeah.
But it were, yeah. And then from there, just sparked up a weird friendship. I think I was drawn to you because you were weird and out there.
Yeah.
I think it was only a couple of weeks later you came back with blue hair. What is this guy? But yeah, it was just like, which is strange because I think his relationship, we're very, very similar in a lot of ways, but or at least we were very opposite in a lot of ways. And I think I always looked at you like, oof, he's out there, he's bold, he's brave, he don't care, he's bold as brass. Whereas at the time, I was probably a bit reserved, a little bit risk adverse, a bit, I can't do that, I can't step out of my comfort zone. Probably my own insecurities of being liked and just staying in my lane, whereas you were like so far out of your lane, well, no one knew what lane you were in.
Neither does he.
I don't either.
Yeah, but like over time, I think that's why his friendship's been so great, because we don't have to speak all the time or every day. But when we do, we can speak to each other for hours on end about mad ideas. And you know when them quotes come out where it's like, small minds speak about other people, big minds speak about ideas. That's definitely like the relationship we have, which is great. Yeah. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, mate. Well, I didn't know you thought I were a dickhead at the start. That's good. That's good to know.
That's how it usually starts off.
Like, this big barrel chest walking down like this with bleach blonde hair. I thought,
Yeah.
like what's that? David Beck? Is it David Brent? No, it's not David Brent. That's the Office guy.
Office. Yeah.
You know who did that rip off of David Beckham? Where it were 110% bent.
Yeah. I know.
It was David Bent. You know the comedian.
Oh yeah.
I thought you were giving that energy.
Well, I'm glad we got past that, mate. Anyway, but we went on a journey early doors with playing for the same football team, mate.
Yeah.
And we experienced some good success
Really
as
good.
teammates for the first time.
I think that's one of the things in it about creating a bond. When you do something in sport, you see different levels to people, and I think the respect level goes up massively once you've shared those hard moments in sport.
Yeah.
I think there's no connection like that, really.
Massive.
And we went into the trenches a lot together.
Yeah.
You were, just my perspective of you were, I know it were only 5-6 years ago, but we were a lot younger back then in terms of all aspects of us life. And you were always that really intelligent, weird as well.
Yeah.
Really weird
In
man.
my own way. Yeah.
Weird man, that's why I was drawn to you. Great footballer, proper engine on the pitch, did Dan. And you'd score a goal as well.
Yeah.
So that's, in a weird way, as early connections were me assisting you on the pitch.
A lot of times. Yeah.
And we had that run with Shelley where we were in an automatic promotion spot.
Yeah.
And then you tell them what happened next.
It were on the rise, wasn't it? It was COVID year, and we're a bit like, I remember the last game, it was Days Hill away. And I think we only had about 6 games to go. We were nailed on. We were absolutely flying at that point, and nothing was going to stop us. And it was the last game, and I remember Big Ash Berry came and said, it were a little bit of a bittersweet moment because we knew we were doing so well. We didn't know what the next season was going to look like. And they were like, this might be his last game. We didn't have a clue at that point, and then played, I think we won 2-1, played really well.
Yeah,
I remember, I think I scored, you might have scored.
Yeah, we did.
I scored a header.
Yeah.
It were on video that game. And then that were it. That were all she wrote. It was very, very sad. And unfortunately, after that, season ended. Next season didn't start until the following January. We'd all gone separate ways. You gone to Bury, I'd gone to Pontefract. There were us and a couple of other lads that had all gone to play higher, which was nice. It was a new experience, but never ever got that same feeling again in football.
And it were brought to an end by COVID. Season null and voided.
So,
That was devastating.
Damn you.
Yeah, never got promoted.
Never got promotion.
Yeah.
And we were on a streak, mate.
Yeah,
we were
we were
beating
ridiculous.
all the top teams. Liverpool away.
Yeah.
Fighting on pitch in the tunnel afterwards with all fans and parents and everything.
Yeah.
Got Larry,
Mad.
Nice.
At
Yeah.
Marine.
Oh, we can turn it on rugby, football lads. Sometimes.
Yeah.
Did it involve pillows?
It got Larry that time, didn't it? It went Marine FC, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We'd got piled back into the changing room. It was stuff like that makes you closer. We're not only winning on the pitch, but we're by each other's side off the pitch. We had a really good camaraderie. Everything was just clicking into place. I'd never felt out like it, especially at a senior level. Maybe at a junior, but never. And I don't think I'd ever get that again.
That's special. It's a shame, but unfortunately, not everything lasts forever anyway. But I can only say from my personal experiences as well from that, the lads who I've been in the trenches with in a similar situation, like they are so much good friends to me still.
Yeah.
And that were years and years back, but you never forget it. You never forget that. So I like that. And then I actually never knew that.
Yeah.
I never knew that. No.
There you go.
I
That's
just
why.
thought you knew each other from the gym.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
That's the backstory for people that are listening as well. You know, we go deep.
Yeah.
We go deep, me and Dan.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I want to kind of understand, Dan, where you've obviously had a long time in the sports arena, studying it at university, all that type of stuff. Take us back there, mate, because I want to try people to understand where the man of Dan Keane has originated from, really.
So, I think, if I briefly mention me as a kid, which I've been thinking a lot about recently, I put a post out on Instagram. As a kid, I just wanted to win at everything. And you don't really think about things at a deeper level when you're a kid, but it were just an insatiable desire that I had to win and had to prove to people that I was the best at whatever I was doing. There's a funny story about when even any sport, cricket, athletics, but there were one when we were camping and I was a kid, and they don't like this story, but the whole family were camping, playing cricket. There's like 10 of us playing, and they couldn't get me out. I was batting, slogging it for 6. I was only probably about, I don't know, 9 or 10. And played it, missed it. I'm in my crease. My uncle's behind me, stumped me. But it was to a point where I'm absolutely livid. So I just turned around and booted him in balls. And I got sent to the tent. But it was, at that time, I had a switch that I could just flick, and I'd be ultimate aggression, bad-tempered, and I couldn't control it. Loads of times when I was a kid, couldn't control it. When I first started playing at senior level, where bookings and red cards become actually a thing, where you get banned and fined, then I thought, I kept getting sent off. When I first started going to Emily and Shelley, sent off, like, I'm spending 3 matches down, and then I sort of had to control my anger. I sort of actually skipped out a big one, which was Halifax. So when I went to college, I went to play football in a Halifax scholarship at Halifax Town. And that were a rough time, because at the start, it was, who's this guy? He's going to, in the first year, he's going to challenge the second years. And the type of player I am, I'm not very technical, but I'm quite a powerful player. And I can command a lot on the pitch. I win a lot in the air, win a lot in the tackle, and make sure that I can go forward and score a goal. But technically, I'd lose the ball a lot. I'd do a lot of risky stuff, playing a long ball, playing Hollywood pass or whatever. So that's probably why I didn't get picked a lot. But it were a tough time at Halifax, because it was like highs and lows. It were 1 week you're star of the week and you're getting picked, next week you dropped. There's loads of examples I can pull on, one of which were not being in favour of, in my first year, I think, not getting a good chance. And I thought, the only way I'm going to get a chance is by scoring more goals. And I came on as sub at the Shea in the FA Youth Cup. Came on, I had 20 minutes. We're already winning at this point, so I guess the other team, you might say, might have given up. But I scored a hat-trick in 20 minutes at the Shea. And all the goals were like 25-yarders, 30-yarders. I'll show you the videos after.
Nice.
So I thought, right, there's literally nothing else I can do here. That's it. 20 minutes, I scored a hat-trick at the Shea in the FA Youth Cup. Then the next 5 weeks in a row was drop. And I'm like, how am I supposed to bounce back from this? Like, it just wasn't happening. So it was tough. There were tough years. At the end of it, you get picked if you're going to get a pro contract or not. I wasn't. And then it was like, oh, right. So I went to Emily and Shelley. That's where the red cards, yellow cards started coming in. I had to control this aggression that I had. Probably no good that I'd just been dropped from Halifax, because I've got something to prove. And then I was like, this needs to change. And then that's where I needed to start controlling the aggression. Be competitive, but be sort of focused on something, rather than just not going my way, bad temper, gone. And I think since then I've been really, really good at controlling it. So yeah, that's where it sort of started. I always had another story, not to go back to the past again, but at Halifax, again, to reiterate, and everyone that's probably played with me, I'm not the best technically, and that's probably why I didn't make it any higher. But I wanted to win more than anyone. And there was a drill that we were doing. I remember it being a really hot day. We'd play up at college, Collill College, and it was like an attack versus defence. So you'd start behind the goal, one man would run across, you'd defend that man, then they'd run across, you'd attack that man. And it would go on for ages, and people were dropping like flies. It was hot, and all I was doing was push as hard as I could. I was always fitter than everyone, but I wanted to win more than anyone. And the coach wasn't happy, sat us down at the end, and said, you can just tell a mile off. He said, none of you want it. There's only one person who wants it. We talk about winning mentality. We're all sat down, and he went, it's him. He's got it. No one else has. Which was sad, because I thought, I've got what most people don't have. And all I needed to do was have a coach that would work on me a little bit, technically. Yeah. You know, but it never came. But now we're here.
You can take that forward though, can't you?
Yeah.
And that's what you are doing now.
Yeah.
What I've noticed from following you for a while, you know, I've known you for a couple of years now, and from what I've seen is you're very, very intentional about what you're doing. Everything that you do is very intentional.
Really good word.
And it's planned and structured as well. So it's not just about putting your shoes on and running.
Yeah.
It's about everything in between what you do as well. Can you tell us a little bit about how you've prepared for you know, some people would look at what you've done this year, a sub-3 marathon, insane, absolutely insane. And then a 57.
57:35 at Hyrox Pro.
Right. And that's at Pro as well. Mm-hmm. Ridiculous times. So people just assume that it's an endurance thing.
Yeah.
Can you explain the strategy and the build-up to getting those times and what you've had to do to get there?
Yeah, definitely. So if you remind me at the end, I'll come back to the most important thing. But the way that I look at something, so I knew at the start of the marathon prep, I've never run a marathon. In fact, sorry, no, I have run a marathon. I did one with Liam.
This is important. This is important, yeah. Because this will be like, people will think this is well out of reach.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah, so going back, it was March 2024. So I'd just taken on the business at the gym in January. And the October before, I'd said to my pal Liam, shout out Liam Senior, who
yes, big dog,
I work with, who has Senior Performance, if anyone wants any.
Give him a follow.
Yeah, give him a follow. He's very, very good. And I learn a lot from him. In the space of fitness, I look at a lot of influencers and things like that, but Liam is someone that he'd be my first point of call if there's anything technical. I go to Liam and, you know, we sort of bounce ideas off each other, so he's great. But in October, I convinced him and said, this was October 23. Oh, I've seen this Endure 24.
Yeah.
24-hour race, go as far as you can, round Bramham Park. Do you want to do it? I reckon we could do 100 miles. Is there? All right then. So we started training, very, very naive, having never run anything. I think the longest I'd done was the half marathon with you, probably a year before, maybe 2 years before. Anyway, started, and then turn of events that December, everything went wild, and then I ended up taking over the gym. And I was trying my best to put the mileage in with Liam. We were going out at stupid hours, starting at 4 a.m. on a Sunday, going out with these long runs. And it was just, there was a lot building up. So I said to Liam in the end, I've got to bail out of this. But the last training run we did, we ran a marathon. Week before, we'd run a 25k. I'm like, it's only another 40k or close to. Sorry, it's only another 20k. And then we set off on this run. And to this day, the last 10k was probably the most painful thing I've ever done, like as a physical fitness thing. It was just horrible. And I remember we were both in the, I was worse than him, he was struggling, but he basically had to drag me through. Finished in just under 4 hours, did it 3:58. I was laid down outside B&M for about half an hour on the floor. He went and got me a Coke and some sweets and stuff. I couldn't move. Like the backs of my legs, my hamstrings and my back were just gone. Couldn't move at all. It was like, how is this much pain happening from a run? But yeah, so that was fast forward a year, and then I've done it in an hour and 2 minutes faster.
Wow.
I think that gap in time
You
there,
had to feel that though, didn't you?
Yeah.
To think, fuck that, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah.
I'm going to prepare properly next time.
Which was funny because in, I can't remember when I got in the ballot, so I was really lucky to get in the London ballot because no one gets in. I think it was October last year. So 2024 October, got in the London Marathon ballot, and then London Marathon's on the 27th of April. So I've got from October, it was about 24 weeks. Straight away, I said to all the lads, I think we're going to do sub-3.
You had no right to do that.
No.
You just crawled over the line just under 4 hours.
Yeah.
And then
crawled.
you're setting a target for sub-3.
Yeah. And it was quite funny because, so again, to shout out another really important group to me and us is the lads on a Tuesday morning. So every Tuesday morning we run 6 a.m. on the dot, usually, unless someone's late.
Yeah. Normally Luke.
Yeah. We set off and we run what we call Ogden Cliff, which is essentially a 5k of the worst incline you could think of in Halifax.
Disgusting.
Probably separate to South Iron Bank.
Yeah.
Oh, that's horrible.
Yeah, and then 5k back down. And sometimes we race it. Well, often we race it back down.
Yes.
And then we go straight into a sauna for 20 minutes. And it's like last man standing in the sauna. It's just this huge testosterone fueled hour.
I'm staying in the longest, fool.
Yeah. And it gets flary. It does. It gets flary at times, doesn't it? Like, we'll have arguments. We'll have little play fights, shall we say.
Flipping it. Oh my God.
But
Yeah.
we're calling each other out, and there's a lot of stuff's flying around, and we've got probably half a dozen, if not more, Ironmen in there. We've got world champion Muay Thai kickboxer. We've got me and you, ex-semi-pro footballers, if you want to call us. Like there's a lot of testosterone flying around. So then I remember I said, "Oh, I'm going to do sub 3." And they're a bit like, "Are you? What?"
Yeah.
And then died down. And I remember asking Liam, probably a week after, I said, "Oh, when I left, did anyone say about me?" And it went, a couple of them said, "If Dan says he's going to do sub 3, he's going to do sub 3." And then
I was probably one of those.
Yeah. And then I just set out my training plan. It were most training plans for a marathon are 12. You should do 16, but I did 20 because I thought I need to build up a little base before, and then I need to know that I can run that pace on that day. I can't. When a lot of marathon plans, what they do is they don't get you to run your pace. You'll do like intervals. You might do like 5k on, 2k off, or something like that. But I wanted to get to a point where I could confidently do a training run, mostly at my race pace. So I built up to I did a couple 32Ks, I did a 27, did a 35 on my longest run, but I did about 5 all pretty much at race pace because I needed to know on that start line, I've got this, I can run that pace. I couldn't have got there thinking all I've done is 10k at race pace. You know what I mean? I needed to know that I could hold the pace. So yeah, it was just about consistency. I've never fully been consistent at something for so long. Like 20 weeks, I didn't miss a single run. I didn't miss a single strength session. And obviously at the same time, I'm trying to train for the Hyrox, which was 2 weeks before.
Yeah.
So I'm training for a Hyrox Pro and a marathon at the same time. So I thought, I cannot afford to miss one run, and I cannot afford to miss one hybrid or strength session. Because if I miss one, I'm not going to be conditioned to the other. And to try and get it back after a week off, you're just in too much pain. So if I'd have missed the hybrid session where I'm doing ergs and weights and sleds, try and do it the week after, that breaks you because you've got too much soreness to then go do your long run. So for 20 weeks, I were doing 10 to, I think I probably average about 10 sessions a week, 5 runs, 1 real long run, some intervals because I needed to go fast for Hyrox, 2 or 3 hybrid sessions, and then my strength sessions as well. So it was just, I knew that at no point could I stop if I wanted to get the 2 goals. And to be honest, I only put the goal out probably 6 weeks before doing the Hyrox, that I could do the Hyrox sub-hour. I always said that I was going to do the London Marathon sub 3. But in my training, I was looking at people, and what I do is look at people in the sport of Hyrox, look at what they can run 5k, 10k, and thinking, I can do that. I'm at that pace. And my strength in Hyrox is the stations, not necessarily the running. And I could see my run pace is getting faster. And I just thought, what I need to do is set myself a goal that at the time is so far ahead that I'm going to drag myself even faster. So initially I was thinking, I could do it in an hour and 2. I'd done Paris in November in an hour and 5, just over an hour and 5:45. Yeah. And I took 8.5 minutes off.
At that point, when you did that 105, we were all like, that is amazing at that time. And I think there were that comparison of Nick Bear at the time, because he just set out to do his first solo pro, wasn't it? And did he get within seconds of what you got at that time?
1 second faster.
1 second faster.
And then people who don't know Nick Bear, our group absolutely idolise him. Yeah. He's like a big endurance sports athlete. When he turns his hand to something, you know that he's going to dial in and do exactly what he has to do to get whatever he's going to go get. And even he struggled for his first one. He's not done another one yet, but it'd be interesting to see how he does.
Yeah. How many Hyroxes have you done?
So this is another funny one. So I've done a lot with my girlfriend Lucy, done a lot of mixed doubles, but obviously that's at the open men's weights. And we've done really well. We've won in Berlin this time last year. We've got 3rd place at Birmingham. We've got I think we've won 3. I think we've got 3 podium finishes. But my pro solo, I've only done 3. So the first one I did in May last year, and that one just went sideways because prepped really well, ready for it. I thought I could easily get under an hour and 10. I didn't know where I was going to be because it's the first time doing the pro weights. I was on at 8:30 at night. I woke up that morning at 3 a.m. throwing up, worst stomach bug ever. And it wasn't just it were a proper sickness bug. So it were throwing up, back to bed, throwing up, back to bed, throwing up. And I thought, what's going on here? It wasn't just a dodgy tummy. It were like my body is refusing anything that's going down. So I was with Lucy, Amy and Charlotte, who we all went down. Amy and Charlotte were also doing the doubles race the next day. They'd gone out for the day. I'm just throwing up for it felt like about 10 hours straight.
And you still raced?
Yeah, so they're ringing me saying,
shit,
are you going to race? Are you going to...
You crazy.
And I was like, well, I'm here now. So I said that if I could keep something down at some point, then I'll race. So throwing up for 10 hours straight, stopped throwing up at about 3. I thought, tried some water. Right, that stayed down. Tried some electrolytes because I'd lost everything through, both ways.
Yeah.
Then I kept down banana and some bread. So I thought, right, give it a go. Started. Was okay. Did the ski quite fast because I'm pretty strong in the ergs. And then sled push felt horrendous. Then I think it was after the sled pull, threw up. After the burpees, threw up. And I'm running around and I'm drip white and they were all taking the piss. But I quite like that. The girls were like just shouting funny stuff. I was on the row and you should see the videos. I'm drip white and I was like, I'm freezing. And then Amy went, well, speed up then. But I still managed an hour and 14. So like it was still a respectable time for the first one.
Why did you not stop?
Just not like me. I like Nims Purger says, he goes, giving up is not in the blood, man. But you just don't give up. Once you start, you don't stop. And shout out to Charlotte because the next day Charlotte got the bug. And Amy and Charlotte went and did their race. And to be honest, it was during her time where she was throwing up. So she was throwing up before. She was throwing up in the warm-up zone.
Wow.
And then she went and did it. And she did the same thing. So she's also very,
shout
very
out to Charlotte, Amy. Lucy as well. It's been great to see Lucy's
different
progress.
mindset.
Yeah, massive.
That's what we're reminded to come back to you, Dan.
Yeah.
There's something at the top of the list in terms of...
Yeah, so to try and put everything together, I'm very good at putting together a strategy. I'm very good at training. I know the body. I know how my body works. Fueling was a big one because I knew fueling would have been important because when you're running that fast in the marathon, my average for the marathon was a 4:10 pace, 4 minute 10 kilometre. But I started at a 4 minute 03. But when you try and take fuel on and you're running fast, it's hard. So that was another big thing. All these practical things I'm very good at working out and planning. But above all else, massively, anything else pales in comparison to your mindset. Which for me is you can throw out, in order of most important practical things, would be sleep. Then I would say your training. Then I would say your nutrition. Then all these little things, the little 1%, 0.5%, 0.1% things. You can throw all of that list out. If your mindset's not right, you may as well not bother. It will take you places. It will take you places that all of them things times 10 can't. Like if you fully believe that you can do something, I mean, really believe, like people just throw that word out and it's annoying because I think it's, belief, and it's like disregarded. But when you are on a start line or something and you think there is no way that I'm not going to get what I'm going to get, you're going to get it. You just are. That you're just expelling doubt. And you get to a point, I think, where your mind and your body connect and go, yeah, we've got this.
What's your internal dialogue when you're walking around and you're 30 minutes before a race or whatever it is that you're going to do? Have you got a mantra that's going on in there? What sort of voice, what sort of things are being said up there?
So 2 very, very different ones for the marathon and the Hyrox. So start with the marathon. I was thinking there's loads of people getting nervous for a marathon. I'm like, you're about to run 26 miles. It's not like there's so many things that can go wrong in that them 3 hours for me and for other people even longer. some people shorter, obviously. But there's so many things that can go wrong, and it's such a long event. Why would you get nervous? It's putting one foot in front of the other. The only things really that can go wrong are your fueling, like what you actually control in that time, are your fueling and your water and your pace. That's it. When you're going out to play football and you play rugby, there's way more that can go wrong, technically, because as soon as you're on the pitch, it's position, it's first touch, it's pass, there's communication, there's so many things that can go wrong technically in a ball game that I was just used to think, well, all I'm doing is putting one foot in front of the other for a marathon. So I didn't get nervous whatsoever. Self-talk, it was funny, I got into the start pen for the marathon and it was really, really hot. And there were some old guys, and I'm in the fast pen because everyone in there is aiming for sub 3 hours. Some older guys who've clearly experienced, they've got all the race shoes on and the proper gear. And they were going, yeah, no one's going to go what they want today. Yeah, I'm going to take the edge off. No, I'm going to start steady. Yeah, no, everyone's going to be dying. Everyone's going to be this, that, and the other. And it were almost like they were giving each other these excuses as if to say, I'm already giving you my excuse because I'm not going to do well today. And I was thinking, I would very nearly start speaking to him to go, how can you think like that? But I thought, nah, what? But I thought, I can't think like you right now. I've got a job to do. I'm not thinking like that. There's no doubt in my mind that I need to do what I'm going to do. And on the day, I think there's only like another 1 or 2 people out of about 20, 30 people that I know and another 20, 30 people that I follow that got what we wanted. Everyone else on that day, whether it was London or Manchester Marathon, didn't get it. But I was just calm, real calm. I was focused. So every step of the way I was like, right, is it gel time? Right, gel time. Have water, take the water on board. It's a hot day, so we need to have more water, we need to have more gel. So I had an extra gel, so I had that. And just choosing the racing lines, if there was a bit of shade, right, getting the shade, or trying to take in I'm trying to focus, but also take it all in rather than just, oh my God, this is hard, oh my God.
Yeah, so you're not focusing on the demons at all, you're constantly focusing on a strategy.
Yeah, until the end when it hits 32k and it were game over, cramping. But by that point, I'd put more of an effort in at the start. 32k, I was well in front of the target. I was on for a 352. And at 31k, mindset-wise...
252.
Sorry, 252.
Don't put an hour on for yourself.
Yeah, imagine. At 31k, I thought, I'm flying here. When I hit the 32, I'm have music about to play, ready to play, and it'll send me to a new place and I'll just go. And I hit 32, music started. It doesn't feel right. Music was on for about 20 seconds. It was the first track in my list is Stronger by Kanye. I don't just turn it off. And then all of a sudden, boom, right hamstring, boom, left hamstring. Both calves are like, oh no. 10k to go. Starts cramping. And what was really funny was just before I'd set off, I told Amy and Lucy, because they were down in London with me, if I start cramping, I can run with cramp. Like I know how to do it. So I thought, I've said that now. I need to carry on running with cramp. I cannot stop because I've said that I can do it. So I'm just going at whatever pace I can until I lock up. So I'll go a little bit faster. Oh, no, I can't. Right, okay, that's my pace now. And then it just slowly dropped off. But luckily I'd done enough in the earlier stages that I had way more time banked, which was always a plan because I thought that there was a potential that I could cramp up because it was so hot. So I had to set off a little bit faster. So yeah, just calm and focused. Going back to your initial question, marathon is put one foot in front of the other, take your water, take your gels. It's very simple. Hyrox is a total different ball game for me. If you've ever done one, which I know you've done one. No, you've not done an official.
Not an official one.
You have. People listening have. I think the most attractive thing about Hyrox is the pressure, and I love it. Like you get into a pen.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
That's the one.
Perspective.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Some people love that shit and some people crumble.
Yeah,
I could totally resonate with what you're saying there because that sort of pressure or those eyes or that level of expectation, I'm like, now we're talking. I feel alive now.
Yeah. It's like a drug.
It goes beyond any sort of training session though, doesn't it? And you get a different animal that day when you feel like that.
Oh, it's massive. Yeah, I'll go back to how I deal with it, but you go into a pen, it's a Red Bull start block, And it's in a little tent, so the roof's lowered. Everyone's in there. Everyone's jostling about. So if you're a bloke, you're with everyone else who's got a top off. I'm at the front and I'm just ready to go. It's just pressure. It's just great. But the way I deal with that is totally different because there's a lot more that can go wrong in Hyrox. Way more. Your strategy has to be on point and you have to be calm and focused and ready for it. So what I'll do is, and I sort of know about this, but it's also more of a feeling. So in sports science, you're trying to control your arousal, not sexual arousal. It's like arousal in terms of pressure and anxiety. And if you time it right, it can work in your favour. If you time it wrong, it goes against you and you ruin your race.
Energy dump. Yeah.
Massively.
Yeah.
So in Warsaw, and I've done this a few times now, so I know what I'm doing. I will go maybe like 90 minutes before. I'll take myself off to a quiet room. Luckily, I had a car in Warsaw. I hired a car. So I went down and I have this video that I watch, and it's quite funny because everyone thinks I'm a bit weird when I do this, but I would if I was to go back to uni, I'd study it. So it's called ASMR, and you'll probably know what I'm talking about. It's autosensory, that stuff. Autosensory motor response. It's when you watch a video, and there's a lot where it's like tappy stuff, where it's scratching and whatever else, and you get a tingle at the back of your neck. I have a particular video on YouTube that I watch. It's a cranial nerve exam. It's a bloke going through this NFL player's cranial nerve where they'll test his reflexes and whatever else. It's unintentional ASMR. But when I watch it, my heart rate drops. I get the tingles in the back of my spine. It just relaxes me. And I feel like I don't know enough about brainwaves, but when I've listened to some podcasts about brainwaves, you drop into a different brainwave. I'm just really relaxed. I can take my pulse from an average of 50 down to like 40 or below. So I watched that a couple of times and I'm steady. And I'm closing my eyes and trying to relax. And then really relax. Then I'll start having an energy drink, so some caffeine. And then I change into my kit and I start my track, my playlist. It's about 45 minutes long.
I love this bit, Dan.
And
you'll love this.
And each song is slowly, it means something to me, each song. It's either the beat or the lyrics or something, but each song slowly gets me higher and higher. So what I'll do first of all is I'll start the track. It starts with Stronger. Now and again I'll change it. There's all sorts in there. There's Foo Fighters, there's some house tracks and whatever else. And it's like I can feel myself amping up. So I start at this really low sort of relaxed state and start to jump up. There was a car park downstairs in the arena. So I did my 2K warm-up round there and the songs are going up. I can feel myself and the self-talk is positive. I'm just thinking there's no one that's going to beat me out there. That's an interesting one. So back to football. One of my old best mates' dad, who was an ex-pro, he played for England. He once said when we were kids, about 14, he said, because the type of player I am and you've played with me, I've always been the captain. I've commanded the pitch and been quite powerful about it. And I never thought about it until he said it. He said, you must get on the pitch and, when you walk out together, you line up. You sort of look at each other. You must look at all of them and think, I'm better than all of you. And I didn't think like that. Like it wasn't a conscious thing, but maybe I was doing it unconsciously. But now, ever since then, that's all I ever think. So when I get to the tunnel or I get to the warm-up zone, I'm looking at everyone. Doesn't matter who they are. I could be in there with Hunter or Ronkovic.
I fucking love this.
Yeah, and I'd go, there's no doubt in my mind I'm better than you. Any given day, I can be better than you.
Yeah.
So then I get into the warm-up zone and the music's amping up. I like to touch each station. So there's 8 stations and I do the very, very minimal just to like feel it. I'm not really doing anything apart from just sort of, it's more mindset tricks. And then the last track is Downpipe. It's a track that Liam got me into maybe like 4 years ago. But every PB, every race, and I only use it rarely in training because I need it to be good. But every like really dark interval session, if that comes on, it takes me to a new place. It's like I've just gone from what I thought I had 5 gears and I've gone to 6 gear, which is totally different. And I wouldn't say that track will work for anyone else. Like it's almost personal to me. But if you find a track that works for you, save it. Don't listen to it too often. Save it when you need it, because it will, if you can have this association with it where it takes you to a new place, it's meant. So what I'll do is in my final bit.
That's Mark Knight.
Mark Knight.
Downpipe.
Yeah.
Big energy track.
Yeah. So what I'll do in my final bit is I've been warming up and I race my top off. But until this point, when that starts, I'll take my top off and I'm walking up and down the warm-up zone. And I think I've done it every Hyrox. I'm just staring into the abyss. I'm just trying to get into this frame of mind where I've just gone to a different place. And then I'll make sure that I get right to the front of the tent, start tent, and I'm on the line. And at that point, no one's going to beat me. I know people do beat me, but at that point, it's like there's no one that could ever get near me at that point. And it's just like I've gone from...
It's levels to your preparation though, isn't it?
Yeah.
From the training itself all the way to standing on that start line. I mentioned it before, but everything's very intentional.
Yeah, massive.
The choice of track.
Yeah.
The way
very
you're positioning
meticulous.
yourself.
Yeah.
That's really interesting to hear. Let's unpack that a little bit in terms of you think you can beat anyone. It's slightly delusional.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
But do you think that's needed when you're competing at sort of an elite level?
Yeah. I think you could apply it to anything. It doesn't need to be sport. It could be business, relationships.
Let's be honest, Dan, before you go there. You taking over One Vigor Copley.
Yeah.
You had to be slightly delusional to do that.
Yeah.
When you look at stats and figures and the task of it.
Yeah.
The overall task of, turning this business around and revamping it.
Yeah.
So, and that's the great thing that I admire about you is there's all these voices around us. Sometimes a lot of us close friends, and it comes from a place of safety.
Yeah.
They don't want you to get into financial struggle or physical pain or whatever. And you've got a lot of doubters, a lot of negative voices potentially from your family. Won't go there. So with all that noise, then does it come back? What does it come back to when you're getting all these negative voices, opinions, energy around you?
Yeah, it's very tough. So on one front, I'd definitely say that delusional optimism works because I feel like both goals in just these two, the marathon and the Hyrox, more so the Hyrox, because it was like 6 weeks before I thought I can do Sabah, where I've put in a time that at the time when I did it was the 50th fastest time of all across the world, across all the elites, 50th fastest. And I don't think if I'd have said that I was going to do Sabah, I'd get anywhere near. Like the goal dragged me to it. I know I got the goal, but say for example, I got an hour and 1 or an hour 30. If I hadn't have said that I was going to get an hour, let's say I was an hour and 2, then what you actually get gets dragged back. So I feel like you have to put your goals further out. It has to be further than what you believe is actually possible in reality, because you may as well. In terms of, because who cares? Do you know what I mean?
It's the old shooting for the moon and you end up within the stars type of analogy. Yeah,
100%.
Yeah.
In terms of the doubters and things like that, it's tricky because I don't think you can really pull out where motivation comes from, whether it's to prove to yourself, to prove others who believe in you, to prove others who doubt in you. I do think there's a lot to be said for the negative draw of, it's not a negative draw, of proving others wrong. It's a negative energy. Like it gets a lot done. It's more rage, but I don't know how I would split it if there was a percentage. I do think that...
Does that work for you?
I think it can do initially, but I feel like it's short-lived. The main thing is because I've always had high expectations of myself, and I think maybe all kids, especially like us, and I'm guessing you're probably the same, Dan, is you go, I'm going to be a professional athlete or I'm going to be a professional footballer. I think everyone thinks that, but when I was a kid, I actually thought that's going to happen. I remember being a kid and telling people at school, I'm gonna do this, and you don't, and you feel a bit like a fraud, and it's a bit like, I thought I was going to be somebody. Not that I want to be somebody, but I want to prove to myself, or I want to prove to that young kid, oh, by the way, we do cool stuff. Like we do what we say what we're going to do, and you actually do excel. I think it's now. Motivation can come from all. It doesn't have to be one, and it can be a combination of stuff. But I think more than anything, I have to prove to myself that I can be elite or something.
Is it the disappointment of not going to the dream of football?
Possibly, yeah, that could be a big one. I feel like I've had my fair share of, I would say, not bad coaches, but unfavourable outcomes in football. Probably where I want to prove someone wrong. There's definitely some.
There's no what you can do. There's no what you can do about that sometimes, though, is there? That is literally the luck of the draw. Your face fits, and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
In team sport. For
sure, and that's just how it goes. And I think that you can use it as fuel, and it's great. But for me, it feels like it's almost short-lived. But I'll tell you one funny thing was, and it happened twice. Obviously, the Hyrox and the marathon were 2 weeks apart. But the Thursday before was my last session before both of them. Thursday before the Hyrox, that was the first thing that I did. I did my last interval sessions. And every time I go out for an interval session, because I've progressed so much in my running, I almost like, can I run these paces? I've written out my own workout. How am I supposed to get down to a 320k or a 310 kilometre, which is fast? And then I do it. I'm like, wow, I can do that. And I remember the last session before I went to Hyrox, it was out on the road, and I thought, I've done it. It felt easy, and I just sat down a wall, got a little bit emotional. I thought, I've done it. It's already done. It's already happened. Like, it's not a case of I'm going to go, no, hopefully I'll get that sub-hour, or it's already, in my mind, it's already happened. And then 2 weeks later, my last interval session, I did 12k, I think it was 3x2k at marathon pace, so not a hard session, but it felt so easy, and I tapered really well, and I thought, and it's the same thing, I didn't get emotional on that day, but it was like, it's already happened. This sub 3 hours already happened. It's not a case of will it, it's, I'm just going to live a destiny sort of thing. So it's not even a case of there's no doubts and you believe in yourself. It was like, it's happened. It's not a choice. Nothing's going to get in my way now.
That's really cool, man. I think a lot of people, regardless of what level you're at, is just to try and break that down for people listening, Dan. And I want to bring it back to the motto of your brand now, which is set goals and take action.
Yeah.
That's one bigger couplet. That's what you've created. And would you just kind of round up for someone who's, say for example, is wanting to run a sub 3 hour, and just a really sort of actionable step in really simple steps from initially planning to training to executing, physical and mental?
So physical, I would say, if you've got a plan, and the plan's realistic, as in you can do the sessions that are there, and the pacing and the volume and the frequency fits in with your life, or at least it should fit in if you can do it. Don't miss. You can't miss. And if you miss, this is one of Liam's favourite quotes, you never miss twice, ever. As soon as you miss twice, that doubt starts, and then it's the start of a new habit. So if you've got a plan, 6 week, 10 week, 12 week, never miss, never sway from it. Always be consistent, because that will take you way more places than any talent ever would. You can't miss. Regardless of what the plan is, whether the plan's good or bad, it doesn't matter, because you can blame a plan or you can blame a session, but if you're not doing it properly, and only you will know if you're cheating reps or if you're cheating a workout. It said 5k, but I did 3. Or you have this little voice in your head that says, I'll do it. I'll do a little bit today and a little bit tomorrow, and you're swaying off it already. Or, it was a tough session yesterday, so I'll ease off. I mean, to be honest, there are some times where in training I'll check in with my body and think, that's not smart today. I will do this tomorrow. But if I've done it once and I've deferred it, it has to be done. Otherwise, you've lost it. You can't get to a start line of anything and think, or I remember that session, or I remember that 10K I missed, or...
Do you think the guys that stand at the start line and go, probably not my day today?
Because they know the work that they've been putting in.
Yeah. They might not actually have that conscious thought, but it's a seeded out at the back of your mind.
Yeah.
And it's enough. That tiny seed is enough to take you off. So I think physically you have to, if you don't know what you're doing, obviously get help, use a coach. There's so many people out there. You just hopefully if they reach out to you, if you reach out to them, they get back to you. Depends how big they are. But
2 Dans sat here, by the way, lads.
Yeah.
Yep.
Whether it's...
Don't ask me about sub-3 marathons. Whatever you do, I'll be using a motorbike.
Exactly. Whether it's exercise or nutrition or something. And there's so many different plans out there, so many different apps. It helps if you have I'll tell you what is really important, actually, that I should touch on, rather than just like a pure physical point of view, is a community, is a team of people. I don't think there's any chance that I would have done what I've done without the Tuesday lads. Although you could say, I don't think it is, I love it, but you could say that sometimes it gets a little bit, I hate the word, but toxic, where we're pushing each other and we're pushing each other on what we can do and the numbers that we put out and whatever else. I think that's just lads being lads. But that is really important, to be with people and to be competitive with people. Not to a point where it gets like too much, but to be competitive, or to join a gym. You cannot beat training with other people, ever. I think that if I hadn't have had because obviously I do all the programming at the gym and I do all the classes, as in the hybrids and the game days and whatever else. If I hadn't have had that, then it'd have been totally different. You're just training by yourself, lone wolf. It doesn't work. This lone wolf mentality is bullshit. You have to be with people. We're social creatures. There's a really cool quote that...
Can I just intervene there, if you don't mind? I'm going to put a bit of a devil's advocate spin on that, because I kind of got used to that. I got used to the idea of being around people, and it almost become my crutch in a way.
All right, yeah.
You know, like it were the accountability of the other people that were getting me through. And a few years ago, I chose to do an individual CrossFit comp. So you're not just doing one particular race. You're having to have a strategy and for each different workout. And sometimes you don't even know what you're going to get. And what I did to get me away from that crutch that I felt like I had is I went into the trenches on my own for 8 weeks, and I didn't train with a single person because I just listened to the darkness in my own head. And I thought, if I can do this, I can fucking do anything.
Yeah.
Because I prepared myself completely on my own. But that would just, and that will, don't get me wrong, it was lonely, and I've never done it again since. And I don't really want to, I don't have to. But I had to do it for me.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
So sometimes there is a different spin on it, because I was using it as a bit of an anchor. You know what I mean? To keep me accountable to train. And that's so important. And that's why I've created a community as well, because I know that how hard it is to keep doing it on your own.
Oh, definitely. No, you're 100% right. There's stuff like that can creep in all the time. Crutches, I talk about them at the gym, like, it's funny, when a workout starts, how quickly the first person asks to put the fans on or open the door. And you think, you're not actually that warm yet. Some people asking it's 5 degrees, but it's just a little mental crutch that you need to rely on, or having water in a workout. I need my bottle. Or something that you're reliant upon, like training with other people. No, it's good. And I do a mixture. So like, I love the functional training with other people, and I can do it by myself. A lot of the long runs I did by myself, because obviously at that point you're looking for people who can run at the same pace. But I do think for enjoyment and how fun it is to be with someone, not necessarily to compete, but just to, you know, that you're feeling the same things that they're feeling. You're both sweating. You're absolutely dead at the end of the workout. It's brilliant.
It's 12:02, Dan.
Right. Okay.
You're about to jump on a call with a big brand.
Yeah, we'll go.
So,
well, we'll round it up 5 minutes. It's a 1:15, but
1:15. Right. Okay, mate. Sorry to just cut in. I don't want to missing opportunities, pal. That's all.
That's cool.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, I guess we'll start to kind of wrap it up, mate. It's been very interesting to delve into the mind of Dan Keane. Let's talk about this weekend. What's coming up?
So,
What are you two going to do?
yeah.
Tell us what you're going to do.
Come on.
Yeah. Well, in 2 days, me and Al are going to Berlin. No, 3 days.
3 days.
Flying Saturday.
Yeah.
We're going to take on Hyrox Pro Doubles. You've already done 2 solos yourself. You've never done a doubles. I've done a few. Me and Lucy won there last year.
Amazing.
And me and Alex are going to win there this year.
I like that talk.
This is where I need to just refer back to the earlier conversation. I have a bit of that delusional optimism in there. Yeah, we're going to go win on Saturday, mate.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are, yeah.
It's going to happen.
Yeah, I don't fucking care who turns up there, pal.
No doubt.
Yeah.
And the thing is, there is delusional optimism always, but we did a simulation last Friday, and I put a big goal out for you. I said, we need to be going under 53. And I sort of knew in the back of my head, I thought, he's going to struggle. I put it further out. I thought 55 would be nice today, because you were 6 days off an ultra marathon.
Yeah.
Where it wasn't just a 56k, 35-mile run, you'd not done loads before. And you shocked me. We did a 53:30, and not once did you complain. Not once did you give your pain a voice. You worked as hard as you could when you could. When we're in that race day strategy, if you can do the same things as I do, and I think you will, where you can go to that extra level and just know that at any one point, if you're knackered, I'm there. There's no doubt that we can do it. Because I've always believed in you. Remember when you first did your first solo individual? You got a few things wrong, and sometimes when your strategy goes out the window, things take over. But you're an unbelievable athlete. You've always have been. But it's just a case of it all has to go right on the day.
Yeah.
It will.
Yeah,
for sure.
It will. It were nice to have that conversation with you before, because I'm very not like I'm not a strategic person. I'm like big world thinking and these ideas, and forget the small things a lot of the time.
Yeah.
And I think having you as a partner now going into Saturday who's dialed in on everything, I think that we've got a really interesting partnership, mate.
Definitely.
And going back to what you said, I didn't complain once in that sim. We'd had a conversation about your marathon earlier, and you were talking about that importance of the mindset and letting them negative things in, even when you do. Like, here's an honest thing, I probably could have stopped a lot of times in that simulation because my legs were fucked.
But you didn't.
But I didn't.
And I wouldn't have had a clue.
Didn't let it in. Also, what helped was the fact that I'd done 56 kilometres the week before, and I'd gone to some dark places with my mate Rammer. You ran the last 10k with me, didn't you?
Well, we were only to help wherever I could. You know, I said, where do you want me? And you said, come at the end when I'm beat up. And I was like, right, okay. And I just spoke to you. You didn't give me anything back.
I don't think I said one word to you.
I just spoke at you just to distract your mind. And that were it, really. But it were an unbelievable physical feat to say that you'd not done that much preparation to do it, and then just to rock up and smash that out in the day in a very respectable time as well. It's not just getting through it. You did it pretty quick too. So I know that there's definitely some levels in you for sure. I
think what I'm referring to there is the dark place that I went to in that ultra. You can then use that as a reference point going into the next challenge. So anyone that's thinking of doing something tough, you can use it as an asset.
Oh, huge.
Going forward.
Yeah.
So in that run where me and you were pelting up and down this road here, I was thinking, it's tough, but it's not as tough as I was fucking nearly dead last week.
I love that.
So it's a reference point. It's an asset.
Goggins thing.
Yeah.
Callous the mind. You can go back and think, I've done way harder.
It really helped. It gave me instant energy.
I say train hard, fight easy.
Yeah, like it.
Because you've already prepared at a volume and a level where you're more confident on the day.
Yeah, huge.
So I wall ball with 12s and things like that, you know, and you're never going to get that in a competition, not usually anyway. So you're just conditioning yourself to more. and that's something that I sort of try and enforce in my own training, whatever I'm working towards.
It's very true, man.
Yeah.
Very, very true.
That's been brilliant. Really enjoyed that.
So, right, mate. Well, thank you for coming on. I think there's a lot more areas to touch on with yourself. I feel like we've just scratched surface, really.
Well, when me and you talk, we're going for hours.
We'll go again.
We will go again, mate.
Yeah.
But I think as an overall, thank you for being a great human and a great friend for me.
Thank you.
Thank you for inspiring a lot of people recently.
Yeah.
It's very evident that people are taking note of what you're doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
You're setting goals, you're taking action, you're building a fantastic business there with a great community. And like Dan says, you're very intentional with what you're doing. And back to that Coach Carter quote of allowing your own light to shine gives permission for others to do the same.
Yeah.
I think you're lighting a lot of other people up right now, mate. So
it's great.
Continue.
I'm on my way.
Yeah.
No, it's been brilliant. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And just one final thing is throw it back to you. If I hadn't met you, I wouldn't be doing half the things that I'm doing. Because although I might have still had the winning mentality and whatever else, you teach me all the time, and I still look at you as if, but what would Alex do? Is your boldness to just stand out and go, yeah, I'm going to do that, or I'm going to ask that person, or you make the whole wide world so small because you're like, yeah, I've just spoke to so-and-so. And he'd be like, how have you spoke to him? What? And then it makes me think, well, I can't be scared about asking someone to come to the gym or whatever else, because people just people. But it's stuff like that, and just,
Audacity is the word.
Massive. Yeah, it's huge. Yeah. But yeah, you inspire me in so many ways where I wouldn't normally be like that. You know what I mean?
Well, thank you, mate.
Huge.
Thank you. Likewise.
Fair play.
Yeah.
Fair play. I like that. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for coming on. Top man.
Thank you. Cheers, Dan.
Let's go turn it on in Berlin,
Let's
my
go.
friend.
Berlin, #1, baby.
Yeah, I like that talk.